A hearty welcome from Global Foundation for Early Childhood Education and Research and from Dr. Shelley Bish. GFECR is a young fledgling organization which is designed for enhancement of quality of foundation or early childhood education and bring a global platform for research in this sector. When we talk about our mission, it is to create and foster the best learning environment and education system for the little learners who are just about to explore the world and to equip their nurturers with all the tools needed to help them to soar high as beautiful and confident individuals. Our vision: we strongly believe that early childhood education is the foundation of a child, and we envision to lay a strong scaffold for these young learners. We also envision to produce mentors who can take utmost care to nurture these tiny birds and let the fragrance of these blooming flowers be one of the most precious and unique of its kind. National Institute for Foundation Teachers, under the aegis of Global Foundation for Early Childhood Education and Research, runs the massive Teachers Empowerment Program Pan India. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, that we are operating on 19 states and 5 countries at present, and our power packed workshop has been designed to give a taste of the new age global standards, pedagogies, and methodologies that a teacher can implement and apply in her day to day practical classroom setup. Kinder Magic Curriculum is all about creating a love for learning attitude of a child during his and early years, and the mission is to make learning a fun for the kids, which will create a long lasting impact in the developing mind during this tender age. Our expert team of research and development have come up with a well planned learning and activity kit by the name Kinder Magic Cascade to execute this holistic development through our curriculum. Kinder Magic Cascade is an integral part of a research based learning program that aims to make learning a fun and helps children discover their creative sense. And ladies and gentlemen, right now you are watching us on Facebook Live Beyond Literacy Show. So, our Facebook Live Talk shows bring topics and issues to education and learning that are beyond literacy. Beyond Literacy is a small initiative to create awareness in the education world and bring educators, students, and parents close to the idea of creating a better and educated world. We come up with topics related to education that are beyond literacy, as we strongly believe that there is a wide difference between an educated society and a literate society. So, education has a much spectrum. So, ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to an esteemed guest of ours, none other than Brigadier Sanjay Agarwal, who will be speaking on the coveted topic of episode 29 today, that is critical insights for young parents and educators. So, with a hearty welcome and attitude of gratitude, I welcome our esteemed guest today. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a brief profile of our Brigadier Sanjay Agarwal, sir. He is a Sena Medal in Bar and has been the security advisor at the Ministry of Home Affairs, Government of India, advisor, National Highway Authority of India, and advisor to the Government of Seychelles, and president of the Service Selection Board in the Government of India. He headed the assessment center, assessed over 2,500 candidates, and personally interviewed over 1,400 candidates one on one. The President of India has awarded him twice for gallantry. There is much and much to speak for the esteemed guest today, but due to the time constraint, I'm not able to speak much achievement of his, but it will be crystal clear from his perspective, which he will be giving today on this coveted topic, that he is a gem of a person and a coveted guest with us. So, a warm welcome to Brigadier Sanjay Agarwal. Sir, the forum is all yours, the mic is all yours, the stage is all yours, and we all are waiting with bated breath to hear you out on the coveted topic of today's forum. But before we speak, there are lots and lots of doubts which is coming to my mind regarding this issue of today's topic. So I think we should start with a favorite question and the most important question which is coming to my mind, and that is, what are the various approaches to early childhood learning? What are the various theories around it? And rather than from an academic standpoint, if you could please tell us in a manner useful for our audience, which is primarily of young parents and of educators for preschool children. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Shelley Bist, and a very good evening to you and all your viewers on this Facebook Live session. I have been doing some of these, including for foreign educational institutions, largely in South Africa. I'm told that your audience is largely from India, so I will tune it that way. Now, to get into the answer of your first question, various theories and approaches and the practical aspects for the educators for early childhood education and for young parents. So we are aware that early childhood education, we have preschool, we have kindergarten, and then we have primary school, infant and junior, and then we have the formal schooling process. So in the early childhood thing, if I was to say, this refers to the teaching of children, formally and informally. Please note, parents, formally and informally, up to the age of about 8 years, which in the Indian context would be around class 3 or so. So, the global priority that is placed on this is phenomenally high because people realize that this is the important period in the development of a personality. And this priority on early childhood education is also underscored in the UN SDG goals, that is the UN Sustainable Development Goals. It is there as well. Preschool programs teach important social skills, improve cognitive development, and prepare the child for school. It is helpful to know that preschool programs tend to fall into two broad categories. I am removing the academic mumbo jumbo out of it. So, the two broad categories, the first philosophy is learning through discovery, which is a focus on child directed activities. And the teachers serve as guides and they plan the activity based on the each individual child's developmental level. But mind you, this taxes the educator, the teacher, a lot. The second philosophy centers on programs that are more academically based and typically include repetition, practice, etc. And therefore, you have the socio cultural learning theory, the constructivist theory, and the experiential theory. And correlating all of this, you had earlier, about 60 years ago, the Perry Preschool Project, which was focused on and it proved the need for early childhood education more so in the underprivileged. And the irony is, they are the ones who are served least. So, in the developmental interaction approach, the focus is on learning through discovery. The teachers exploit individual children interests to make sure that each child gets the information most essential to her or his personal individual development. And I'm repeating, it's not a one size fits all, it's not a factory. And therefore, it is difficult, it is expensive. And then you have the socio-cultural learning, which emphasizes the impact of social and cultural experiences on a young person's learning, thinking, developmental of mental processes. And as an aside, when we talk of fundamentalist religious training, etc., think this: when you are keeping an early childhood child between 1 year and 8 years into a very, very narrow fundamentalist thing, the child is not getting a balanced growth, a balanced view. And in relation to this, understand that the process of knowing, we call it cognition, the process of knowing occurs within a social context. So, if in that social context you are seeing women being mistreated, abused, violence, it will affect that little child's thinking that this is the way things are supposed to be. Because for the child, that becomes the norm, very dangerous. So, the social context, and this is the issue here, this shapes our way of thinking about and interpreting the world. And in the normal circumstance, we have what is called knowledgeable and competent adults, primarily parents, parent substitutes, grandparents, dai, that is your maid, some caretaker. They are the knowledgeable and competent adults. And when you study psychology, you will have these people who give you parental advice, beta jhoot nahi bolte, that kind of stuff. Then teachers, and these people are also teachers, provide the learning environment where the student can develop learning without direct instructions. Without direct instructions, by a process of exploration, experiencing, introspection, coming to some conclusions, validating them or contradicting them. So it is time consuming. This approach will call for students, for teachers to incorporate the students' needs, to let the child explore at her speed. And this speed would vary and would be different for many children in the class, as and when there is a proper class. Students, teachers can help enhance the understanding and learning for students by shared meanings. This is important. Shared meanings in the child's learning environment. And suddenly, when a child co-locates from a different socio-cultural context to a different one, say from a Naxal area deep in Chhattisgarh, the child comes to Durg or Raipur or even to Jagdalpur, the socio-cultural context of that 6-year-old child changes. And this needs to be factored in. This actually encourages guided participation and students' exploration. And in the constructivist theory, this was about 50, 60 years ago, the teachers guide children in acquiring their own knowledge rather than simply transferring knowledge. Knowledge by rote, A, B, C, D, K, K, G, G, 1, 2, 3, 4. No, ma'am, no, sir. Experiential learning, and in the Indian context, no better example than Jiddu Krishnamurti and the Rishi Valley schools that he established. There is one near Bangalore, there is another one near Switzerland, and my children are all born in the 80s. So at one stage, I was very strongly considering putting my children into the Rishi Valley schools of J.K. Krishnamurti, lovingly known as Jiddu Krishnamurti. And at this stage, I want to show you this book for thinkers on education. And this is by Swami Ramakrishna Nandan. He was a monk from the Ramakrishna mission, and my copy is 30 years old. So 30 years ago, and here it is written in pencil, these are the kind of people who have spoken about the ancient Indian traditional learning system based on experiential knowledge and self discovery. It is nothing new, it is not a Western construct, though, yes, in the last 30, 40 years, a lot of research has been done. Another thing I want to show you is developmental psychology. This book covers the entire psychology of learning and associating with the world through different ages. And finally, here I will talk about the experiential learning a little beyond Krishnamurti to talk about the four stages. First is concrete experience, second is reflective observation, and the third pardon the jargon, is abstract conceptualization, and finally, active experimentation. So, this is the cycle of experiential learning. And the practical implementations are that the child must be allowed to rationalize everything, must be taught to rationalize everything, to be open to changing interpretations and to critical thinking. So, with that, I think I want to just sum this up by saying that early childhood education significantly impacts the socio-economic outcomes not only of individuals but of societies. So please, ladies and gentlemen, let's all give it the due it deserves. I would finish this one here, Dr. Bist.
Very, very well spoken. And apparently, you have given a very well versed answer to the question which I've asked. Thank you so much, Brigadier Agarwal, for the detailed answer. Now, very briefly, if you could talk about the barriers and challenges in early childhood education, which all maybe the parents, the children, and the educators basically face.
Barriers which are
Yeah,
faced. Okay.
yeah.
So fundamentally, what are the barriers in early childhood education? Violence, child abuse, child labor, exploitation. So this is one category of barriers which pose challenges. The second barrier, ladies and gentlemen, dear viewers, is our ignorance as young parents and our inability to hold the educator responsible and systemically for society to produce enough qualified educators who are focused on early childhood education development. We have them, but it is my confirmed view that the numbers are nowhere near what is required. The vernacular saying, Ek anar so bimar. We require at least 20 times more the numbers that we have. So the barriers, violence, child abuse, child labor, exploitation, and exploitation has various shades. And the second major category of challenge is ignorance. The challenge further is who benefits most from ECE? The underprivileged children who, if they get even a little bit of support here, the improvement in the individual output and therefore the societal output is much more. And ironically, the children of the poor and the disadvantaged remain the least served as far as early childhood education is concerned. And this exclusion persists systemically, despite the evidence that the added value of early childhood education is higher for them than for their richer counterparts. I'm sorry to say. And the last challenge I would like to introduce, I am a founder member of another NGO, so I would like to talk about there is a challenge for our unfortunate orphans and their ECE because their formal schooling and all will happen. Somebody will look after it, hopefully. But the early childhood part gets ignored. That's it.
Wonderfully, wonderfully spoken, sir. And the next question, and that to a quick question which is coming to my mind, is the usefulness of baby videos towards early childhood education. And here, one important thing which I want to ask is I don't know how far I am correct or wrong. I have seen certain small children participating in certain debates, webinars, seminars, maybe some singing competition or the dancing competition. They are very, very small, but then they are in full makeup, and in a very mature way they present themselves as the other mature speakers or participants and all. So my question to you is, as far as these baby videos and all these children are considered, don't you think they should represent their own age when they fall in the age group of 5, 6, 7 years, or maybe 3 to 4 years, whatsoever. A small child should remain small. So, what are your expert comments on these baby videos?
Excellent question. I have been asked this similar kind of a thing earlier, and my answer was let's not rob childhood of its innocence. So, videos are in some ways very useful, but the moment you look at the commercialization aspect of a precocious child, a promising child, a child prodigy, the commercialization aspects rob that child of the innocence of childhood, leading to certain negatives. We have many examples in India, and an example in a movie, The Queen's Ambit, where a young girl finds herself in an orphanage and she's adopted by somebody, well meaning people, and she does very well in chess, and how she treats the world and how the world treats her. The Queen's Ambit. So, coming to baby videos, they are an educational tool. They can be used for teaching babies as young as 6 months old by introducing them with the alphabet in the vernacular, by different sights, shapes, colors, numbers, counting. So a lot of repetitive stuff which today we are children of dinks. So the dinks has transformed and now you have one child, double income, no kids. So mother, father both working, no time for children. So what happens when the child is left somewhere in a creche or with a caretaker? The videos come in useful, and these things can be taught. Baby videos can also be helpful in learning important educational skills, comprehension, introduction to the environment, even to music. Sometimes there are videos which are used to improve motor skills. Introduced to the young minds, there are various planet related, environment related, wildlife related videos made for children. But frankly, as Dr. Bist has said, there is no medical evidence to prove that videos are unequivocally good. So they have to be used with care. And as I said, the effects of commercialization of a child prodigy, a precocious child, need to be taken care of. The biggest benefit, however, is that digital media exposes the children to the why. You are all aware, being educators, there is a phase of the growth of a child. Kyo mama? But why? Why is the sky blue? And the child will continue with the whys, and the mama will ask, the papa will ask the dadaji, and nobody can answer them because the child's curiosity, why, but why, then what? So these videos, this encyclopedias, this internet is very useful there. So sometimes the videos could be harming. I have seen reports where certain children believe in the Google Home Assistant more, and they quietly want to use it, the grown up children, for doing homework. And even a younger children, there was a game which had come which was very dangerous because it was a dare kind of a game. So parents need to be aware, and these new age technologies like these Google Assistants at home permanently on, they have a problem. Children can learn language skills because they watch a lot of children programs, and the characters, whatever language they speak, whether it is minions or whether it is the super characters, because my grandson watches and he already knows 3 4 languages. Three he knows well: English, Hindi and French, and Kannada he learnt when he was there briefly, etc. So overall, used with care, with a strict limitation on digital exposure, I would say they have a useful role to play. Yeah, they have a useful role to play.
Yes, yes, of course, wonderfully answered my question. But coming to parenting now, what advice do you have for parents of preschool going children? And how about parenting and value education?
Could you repeat that question again, please?
Yeah, sure. The question which is coming to my mind is, coming to parenting now, what advice do you have for parents of preschool going children? And what about parenting in value education?
Okay, good. So
Hmm.
this is one which I like. How can we be good parents, sir? My child is between 1 years to 6 years. Or I am an educator in this category of children. So I will focus here answering it from the point of view of a parent because I feel that the same thing is relevant for a teacher, and the teacher would have got early childhood development ECE, formal education, and access to literature as well. So I am going to structure this answer, as you said, going to parenting. So what should be the parents' views? First, what is happening? Both parents are working. Money is not a major problem, time is. So, what do? You substitute material gifts for quality time with the kid. I'm sorry, material gifts, chocolates, toys, uh, mobile phone, new toy is not a substitute. So, sometimes the parents are giving what they have, these things that I spoke of. What the child requires is quality family time, including one on one time with the mom and with the dad, and an equal time share. Not that the child is the center of attraction, they are bonding. We don't do this enough. In many families, I have recommended, and I'm happy to say my daughter shares this. The last 1 hour of the child, we withdraw. Whether the child is reading or the mother is reading a story, or they are just talking of their day and how it went, or they are planning their next day, or they are discussing life in general, or yesterday there was an eclipse, they are discussing the eclipse and understanding the eclipse and the traditional angle of the eclipse and the astronomical angle, and the child is talking of the problems he or she is facing by a bully in class. This time is required. It could even be that 5 minute walk when you walk from your house to the bus where the LKG bus comes where you drop your child. But it is difficult to switch frequencies for the child so well. So, this pre sleep time is a very good time for quality time. That's one. Second, I want to say is parents need to know how to say no because we feel guilty that we are not giving enough quality time and what I should give the child. Remember PAC, parent, the little professor. It's a psychological description of the manipulative child, the little professor. Children understand. So you have to learn how to say no. Either you are not setting a rule or you set the rule and don't follow it. For example, you set the rule aisa karoge, then no TV for 3 days. And the same evening you allow that child to see the TV. I'm sorry. Either the rule set was inappropriate, but once you set it, you have to follow it. Otherwise, you are teaching the child rule torna par for the course. Okay hai, not done. If you made a rule, please enforce it with love, with empathy, with compassion, with understanding. Maybe sit with the child and punish yourself also. But the rule has
Very well spoken, Brigadier. But still on parenting, coming now specifically to children of age, say 1 to 2 years, what should be the parents be aware of? Like, what
okay.
should be the child should be able to do? And how about the toilet training, basic social skill? Because see, when we talk about the toilet training, that is one of the most important thing which
Yeah.
we need to monitor. So your expert comments on it.
Okay, before that, just let me add two more points because the previous one was something which is a topic of my choice. The parents must have fun with the children. It's not all dart. It's not all guidance. I have done it with my kid, standing out in the rain and deliberately standing under the broken water pipe of the huge roof and having a bath, having stripped our clothes in the huge veranda. So have fun with your children. And finally, be a good role model. Values are more caught than taught. बोलने से नहीं आएगा, वो देखेगा कि you are doing. The child will watch you doing it and the child will pick up. And now coming to this question about these 1 to 2 year olds and the potty training. So please understand, if you have two main sources of help. Number one, the internet, Google auntie, and number two, and more importantly, your pediatrician. So the net will give you a lot of gyan and help you ask relevant and applicable questions to your pediatrist. The net is not a substitute for the pediatrist, the child specialist. So what the child should be able to do by age 1 and 2 and 3, it's all specified, which is a band. It is not a fixed compartment, which depends on each child's unique differential development growth. That is all available on the net. Now, if you think your child is not developing properly, once you've read up these things, talk to the pediatrician. Now, coming to the toilet training, the first thing I would tell you is the moment the child starts going to school, preschool, that is the time the child will need to be potty trained. So, well before that, start talking to the child. And between parents, it's okay if you are having a bath and the child is watching, that there is a child potty adapter kept in the. So talk about how it is used when you are sitting and using the toilet, how it is done. It's not a taboo. That's how the child will learn. And then do never tell the child, देखो वो बच्चा तो potty अपने आप कर लेता है, तुम नहीं करते. This negative comparison, never. It's a natural thing. You will watch the child from the diaper stage. Oh, you did potty? So next time when you have to do, you tell me. Doing in your diaper at age 1 year. Mama potty ho gayi. Okay, next time you tell me before. Mama potty aayi hai. So that's how it will start. And then with the adapter to the adult pot or in the baby potty, the plastic baby potty, it will happen. No negative comparison, a supportive thing. Anything between 1.5 saal, 2 saal is fine. Talk about it. Introduce it as a natural subject. And final point on the 1 to 2 year old is, please understand the difference between parallel play and interactive play. A lot of parents are worried, मेरा बच्चा खेलता नहीं दूसरों बच्चों के साथ. At the age of between 1 and 2, the children will sit together to play, and a child could be very happy playing with something on her own. This is called parallel play. By the time a child is 3 years old, interactive play should come in. If it does not, you need to talk to a pediatrist. And if a 1 to 2 year old is not sharing his or her goodies, it's natural and normal. Don't insist that that little kid shares. Final point on behavior. You see a lot of Dennis the Menace being made to sit in a corner. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Making a child sit in a corner is not done. I'm sorry. It's a very harsh punishment. It should be a rarity. You have to rationalize with the child, spend 10 minutes to explain why that action was so dangerous. And if you need to give a timeout to a child, "Jao kone mein, go to your room." Not sit in a chair like Dennis the Menace facing the corner. No, go to your room. The rule for that, by the way, in the world, age of the child is equal to number of minutes. So if it's a 2 year old or a 3 year old child, the 2 year old child can only be made time out 2 minutes. Otherwise, the psychological impact is very bad. I am a very strong proponent. Don't punish the child, positive reinforcement, and explain why the deviant behavior or offensive behavior was deviant or objectionable or offensive. No time, that's it. Anything else? I'll be happy to
Uh,
answer any of our audience.
Brigadier, wonderful insights you have spoken for the parents. But if you talk about a small child, for a small child, my parents, my heroes. Why? Because my parents are my greatest heroes, for they helped me defeat my foes. Without them, I wouldn't be here now. To follow their ways is my vow. The love and support they give me gives me so much glee. They always show me that there is hope. At times where I can't cope, I'll always love and obey them and treasure them like a gem. Why? Because I always give them praise, for they put up a smile on my face, and that is what a small child often speak for their parents. Because when we often talk about the small children, children are like angels, and as you have openly spoken earlier in the beginning of your speech, that children are innocent. Okay, and we should not snatch this away from them, because this is the only adjective they have, and this is the only adjective by which they differ from us all. Because when we grow up, we become hypocrite, we become manipulative, we become materialistic, we become selfish. So this is how, we can put up this nonsense, this smile on a beautiful child. Well, Brigadier Sanjay Agarwal, lots and lots of thanks to you, and I'm getting compliments for the wonderful speech and insights which you have given, and you have tried to cover the topic in a very simple way with realistic examples. I especially loved the example which you have spoken for the toilet training and all for the social issues and behavior, because this is how we can relate to these problems, we can relate to this topic, and especially for the young parents and especially for the children and the primary teachers. So my attitude of gratitude to you for having taken time from your choco block timetable and to be a part of our show. Thank you so much for sparing your time, for your pearls of wisdom, and I'm sure I will be inviting you once over again with a fresh topic and in a new episode. So kudos, warm welcome, and thank you so much for your time and for your words. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you, Dr. Bist, and thank you to our audience. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.